Do you play trading card games? Of course you do. That's why you're listening to / watching this thing. If you want to save money on your trading card purchases, we have a promo link over at 50cards.shop. Enter the promo code ATNIGHT to get 5% off your order. Hey everybody, welcome to Nexus at Night, your weekly Vanguard podcast. I'm Atlas.
I'm Matt.
I'm Root Beer.
And we're talking about, normally we'd be talking about Premium Collection 2022, but there's still 3 clans left.
Who's left?
Angel Feather, Murakumo, Neo Nectar at the time of recording this.
Terrible clans.
I know, right? I feel bad for them. They got,
Angel Feather is one of the worst premium clans, right?
Kinda.
That thing has nothing going for it, I think. I could be wrong, but I feel like Angel Feather just has nothing going on.
That stride of theirs, the one with the purple hair that makes everything damage X door, is really good. It's just that the deck needs to get to that point.
Oh.
So, until that happens, it's just kind of a, waiting in the wings.
Gotcha.
Neo Nectar and Murakumo, up in the air.
I think Murakumo is as far as the other two.
Mm-hmm.
Neo Nectar kind of got destroyed after Katrina got banned. Although I think with the cards they print nowadays, Katrina's probably fine.
I think it is. I think they could probably bring it back.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think I think Katrina can come back. Gastille can stay gone, but Katrina can come back.
Well, Gastille was gone it finally got hit 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, Gastille should have been gone with Katrina the first time, but that's not the whole nother.
Yeah.
But I think Katrina's probably okay. As just the way everything's shaped up. I think
Kashima? Or
no, God no.
Still
God
no. Yeah.
There's a reason that card was banned before it came out.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Katrina's probably fine because the spikes. Honestly, the new spike stride feels kind of like Katrina.
So, what we're doing this week instead of a set review, because we'll do that next week, is we're talking about what we're excited to build, how our decks are going to be affected, because we have about 2 or 3 a person, and also what we think is going to come out of the woodwork after this premium collection is coming out. So anybody want to go first?
I think I'll go first because I've talked the most about it already.
Go for
it. So I've been looking a lot at Spike Brothers because I when they revealed this, so Spikes prior to this premium collection was really lacking a first stride. If you didn't get to Hellheart 8, you had to if you kind of use your G guards and you could go to Violence Ace, draw a bunch of cards and just sit there, and it wasn't really satisfying. Violence Ace is just not a great card. It's fine, draws a lot of cards, but other than that, it's not an exciting card to do. Agrius has a lot of issues, especially as first stride. Even if you get first stride, Agrius isn't doing a whole lot. You really need a card face up, 2 cards face up to kind of reset your whole board and get the extra.
Agrius is on attack, bind 2 for every 1 in G zone, then call them back or something.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And forces everything to be charging, I think. But it's just not good as a first stride getting first stride, right? Which is supposed to be a powerful turn.
Yeah.
You could most end up with 6 attacks or something, and it's not terribly impressive. And with Agile Fullback, it's a grade 2 from the latest V collection that if it's in the back, if it's called to the back row center slot, can get attack from the back row, and if it was called by a card's ability, gets an additional 10k. So it can be a 20k attacker from the back row center slot. Now, this card is extremely important going forward for Gary, the new stride for Spike Brothers, that says whenever a unit attacks, give it 10k, then put it at the bottom of your deck at the end of battle. The other important part about this card is that it has an on-attack Soul Blast 1, call 2 grade 2 or less units to open rearguard circles, which is an incredible card. So even if your Spike Brothers were full of vanillas, right? And this is 5 attacks with if you don't put any brain power into it. But realistically, this card is 7 attacks if you have just random cards in your hand.
Yeah.
This is not thinking about any real cards. This is just 7 attacks for 1 CB.
So the floor with with a minimal amount of brain power.
Your hand is dog shit. This card is 7 attacks for 1 CB.
That's real good.
Yeah. The better your hand is, you can get up to, I think, 10 or 11 on one, depending on what you start with. You can get easily 11 on two, and you can get 12 attacks on three. Just depending on your starting hand, of course. But it's going to be a very and all of these attacks are like 23k plus. Some of them have crits because of your Force 1 and Force 2 circle.
I played someone earlier today in Remote Fight, and he was calling it Force 3, which I think is funny.
I just say the Force marker and spikes because there's no one splits these up, right? I don't think.
No, of course not.
No,
But like, even if you just slap them on the circle and you're like, there it is.
Yeah.
So your instructor is attacking for like 32 boosted by Dexter, and you're just like 32k to crit from my trigger.
Mecha Instructor, the stand trigger.
Yeah, Mega Instructor, the stand trigger is very cool. So basically, it has the ability of when it's returned to deck, you can put a card from your hand into soul, choose one of your rear guards and bind it and call it back. So what you do is you kind of use, at least the current strategies, to use Ambush Dexter to banish Ambush Dexter, call it back, eat a grade 2, and call 2 grade 2s from deck.
Oh my god.
So this is kind of like the most basic one. I'm not going to get into all the stuff too in-depth, but basically kind of the most basic thing is you just have like a random grade 2 laying around. You attack with the grade 2 on one side, so it goes back to deck. You attack with Instructor, bind Dexter, eat the grade 2, put Dexter in front on the force circle, call Agile fullback behind Vanguard, call Bracky to the left. You have 3 more attacks.
Oh my god.
So
I feel bad attacks for non-visual learners listening.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I assume at some point down the line, Proof will explain all in detail, in great glorious detail.
For people not in Living Proof's Discord, they have like literal spreadsheets. Like Excel spreadsheets with keys, with color coded shit. Like they are going in.
Look, you need some organization if you're going to go through these lines.
I'm not shitting on it. I think it's fantastic. I'm just saying.
I've kind of like have like a standard pattern of all the lines now. Building the deck is going to be a gigantic pain in the ass. It required. So I lost a lot of cards in the fire, right?
Yeah.
And so as far as like random spikes cards, I don't have a lot of them anymore, and like I needed. It has come to a possibility, and I don't actually know if I'm running this card or not, but I think it's funny that I might need Jumbo the stun gun.
God, Jumbo the freaking stun gun. Wait, I thought that was written off because someone brought it up, and then people were like, "That's dumb." No, it's still wrong.
No. It is still on the chart. Devil Watch is written off.
Oh, okay.
We're not playing. Yeah, I'm not playing Devil Watch. I refuse to put Devil Watch in my deck.
All right. Jumbo the Stun Gun is if placed at battle phase, counter charge, soul charge.
Yep.
An 8k grade 2.
Yep.
And then
important fact that it's a grade 2, by the way.
Because you can call grade 2s off of Gary.
No, Gary calls grade 2 or less.
Okay.
What matters about it being a grade 2 is that when we eat with Ambush Dexter to call 2 grade 2s, one of them can be
Jumbo the Stun Gun.
Right.
That's really funny. And then the thing with the Devil Watch was if it's charging after it boosts you.
No, after it attacks or boosts, counter charge, soul charge.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not playing that garbage. I think first of all we have 4. We already have 4 Mecha Instructor. It doesn't like it's an on attack counter charge soul charge or on attack / on boost counter charge soul charge is kind of annoying.
Yeah.
So it basically is worse than Jumbo because Jumbo gives the counter charge immediately when on place.
Yeah.
And doesn't have to attack, which means you can do some cheesy stuff where you like use Jumbo to unflip, but have another ability in standby that uses that same counterblast. So the fact that it gives the counter charge immediately is actually a big deal.
Got it. So you go like counterblast, flip again, counterblast again, like immediately. That's cool.
Yeah. So I think I've had like one CB combo where I use the same counterblast like 5 times. Like not joking. Like 5 times.
That's nuts.
Yeah, you just keep countercharging and flipping, countercharging, counterblasting, countercharge, counterblast. You keep doing that.
I played against a version of this at least today, literally a couple hours before. Somebody from Proof's Discord, we played for fun. He kicked my ass in 2 out of 3 games, and it's horrifying because the problem is that, especially with agile fullback, where one of the things with Spike Brothers in general is that a lot of cards are like, you got to call to an empty rearguard circle, which means you have to vacate that rearguard circle. Yep. This is one more rearguard circle you don't have to worry about vacating. It's just behind Vanguard.
Yep.
And your Vanguard's huge anyway, so there's no like, oh, I lose my Vanguard booster. Who cares?
Yeah, you're striding. 28K is fine.
Yeah. The only reason I won Game 3 was he took 2 agile fullbacks on damage and had to guard with the third one.
Oh, he's only playing. If you're only playing 3, that sucks.
No, he was playing 4. So like he lost the ability to call more of them. So he only had one to.
Yeah, you can make one work, but you have because that keeps going to the bottom of your deck from Gary, so you can keep calling. But
it was still like less. It was a little slower. You know.
Yeah. You do lose quite a bit there.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
That is pretty funny.
I've been like vaguely thinking about Tachi, but not in a huge way. The new stride is, I don't know, it's interesting enough, I guess.
I've been calling it Tonka truck.
Yeah, I'm aware.
It looks like a Tonka truck.
I was going to call it that new Tachi stride, probably. That's probably the name for it.
Fine, have no imagination.
Look, I don't actually remember the name of this card.
Me neither.
I could not begin to tell you. It has a gun. It has a little Glock. That's the only thing I remember about it.
Yeah. I've been, like, a lot of these I haven't remembered the actual name. Which, can you blame me, really?
I'm looking it up again, so I cannot know it. A Gigantosaurus. That's the name?
Yeah. Gigantosaurus.
That's a horrible name.
Yeah. It's like kind of a boring name.
Yeah, what the hell?
Why don't we come back to this? Root Beer, did you have something?
I mean, I have been mostly thinking about Bermuda Triangle because I'm pretty sure OTT is just unsalvageable even with the new stride.
Apparently the new stride is really good.
The OTT one?
Yeah, apparently people have been talking about it. It's really good.
Okay.
Outside of the fact that you can like use the over trigger effect and still have it in the game. That was the thing that everyone wouldn't shut up about.
Like, the actual effect is still good. It's just a bit awkward.
They mentioned that it helps you dig for something, but I didn't really understand the conversation after that because I don't know OTT cards.
Okay.
Got it.
But apparently people are really high on it.
Okay. So what exactly is the... Like, what deck are they running it with? Because I was originally thinking about Hexa Orb, but I'm pretty sure that's awful because you have a nothing turn 3.
Apparently they're looking for an unblockable attack somehow.
Okay,
something with Tom, probably.
Probably there was a grade 2 where you can counterblast reveal the top card, and then whatever it is, your opponent can only call those cards.
So if you did a grade 3,
it's it might be, and this is going to be really dumb.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're playing. Are they? I'm not sure. I don't know, but that's all I heard about it. But I assume that people will figure it out.
Okay, so I was like thinking about this because like the way you have to like take advantage of the new dragon is either like with some sort of guard restrict or like a way to restand your rear guard. So at first I was thinking of Hexa Orb because she has ways of restanding rear guards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then the problem is you're playing Hexa Orb, so it kind of depends on whether or not the new Hexa Orb is at all worthwhile, if there even is one, which there should be, right? Right? So, like, the problem is, like, all the Hexa Orbs need exactly Hexa Orb Sorceress, so the new one would have to, like, copy the name and give it to the G unit, too.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's all I know is that there's some mulling about it, so I would I wouldn't give up on it yet. I would keep.
So yeah, that was my first thought, and you could do things like restand Silent Tom because the restanding unit is a grade 1.
Gotcha.
So you could like restand Silent Tom, and that's like decent. The only problem is you're running Hexa Orb, so I don't know like how great that is. So the card is Diviner Yachimata Hiko that I'm thinking of. That was a guard restrict. So its effect is like on attack, if your hand has 5 or more cards, you counterblast 1, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a unit card, until the end of the battle, you your opponent can only call cards with the same unit type as the revealed card. So basically, if you reveal the normal unit, your opponent can only call normal units from hand. And then if you reveal a trigger unit, your opponent can only call trigger units.
Oh, I thought it was going to be like that grade, so you're like, all right, grade 3s only. Like,
that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know OTT cards, so I'd have to look through like every single one of them, which seems like a lot of work right now.
Yeah.
But
there was a Battle Sister card that got a Sentinel restrict, but you need the Soul Blast to grade 3, and I don't think Battle Sister has a way to accelerate that.
Based on the guy that I played on Springfest a bunch of times, they don't.
Okay.
And also, it's incredibly xenophobic. So, like,
No, I'm pretty sure Battle Sisters is not the play.
I don't think it is either.
Yeah. I wouldn't think so.
Like, my first thought was Hexa Orb. Susano, just because he's generic and he basically does the same thing. As
the Susano, like, the Susano base is just really strong, right? The Susano Amaterasu, just cards.
Yeah.
Good cards.
Yeah. And then Magus is kind of xenophobic, and they don't have the promo that restands itself, so I think that's a dead end right now until we get that promo. Then maybe we could figure something out with that.
Well, at least with Magus, you have the like free countercharge. Which you could then use with the cater.
I mean, you can just play like any stacking card and use Cone Magus.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. So it's not even like if you have a Magus Vanguard duplicate.
No, it's just guess the top card correctly. So as long as you're stacking your deck, you can always use Cone Magus.
Yeah. So if you have that, then you can use the Keter card.
Yeah. So for
Vanguard attacks.
Like, I don't know how to make something completely unblockable off the top of my head. I'd have to look through all the cards again. But like,
that's all that was mentioned.
Something with Silent Tom is probably doable, although I don't know which Silent Tom to run anymore.
So there are no zeros or what was the V series one?
Or they can't call normal units, but you used to combine that with Ichikishima for an unguardable attack.
I think another thing that this stride does is it makes you like it can help you not die, so you can get to Ichikishima better. Maybe because
depends on how many triggers you can get. Like this card is very dependent on what your top deck looks like, and also like what your current board state is. Because if you need to call units, it's better to just use this card first to like get the calls, and then you can figure out the rest of your plays after you call the board.
Yeah,
but if you already have a board set up, then you want to stack triggers.
Makes sense. I'm not entirely sure. I think there's something in there. Like the fact that this, Yashi Madahiko is a rare from like there's something in there somewhere.
There is something there. That one does need a counterblast, though, which is kind of annoying. Silent Tom is free. The grade 1 for Hexa Orb costs counterblast, Soul Blast, which is a little annoying, but it's probably tolerable. I was also thinking about this in Witches, just because the extra Vanguard attack means you get 8 drive checks.
Ooh, that's pretty funny.
I don't know how good that is. I haven't thought that much about OTT. I've spent most of my time just thinking about Bermuda Triangle, honestly.
Fair enough. I think the Bermuda Stride's cool. I just was confused about all of the people, like... I was so confused that people bring up Loro first thing.
Yeah, no, Loro is, like, not the play.
I don't want to put 9 orders in my deck or whatever.
Okay, so the way I've seen it is that anytime we get something that could be good in premium or whatever, there has always been this, like, I don't know if it's the same people every time, but they jump at the chance to, I can use, overdressed stuff in premium.
Stop.
And it probably doesn't help that I have a video series about overdressed bosses in premium, but that's mostly just because...
It's your fault.
It's kind of my fault a little bit, and I'm sorry. I just like the idea of someone figuring that out. The problem is that the one time it's been figured out to great effect, it has warped the meta around it. So...
good old Mega Colony. Super based.
Yeah, or I don't know if it's warped the meta, but it's definitely like this is the thing, you know? It's a top deck, and people have to look out for it, and you got to be playing things like things that resist, or like noting that your Vanguard shouldn't attack until later, like just shit like that to get around Brilliant Blister and the like.
So yeah, like I'm looking. So the Bermuda Triangle one, like at first I thought that like the V bosses couldn't plus enough to really take advantage of this card. Although I'm like looking at some of the grade ones more, so I think it's probably doable. Like I was looking at some of the cards Solemn played to like get card advantage in Prisms, but like obviously Premium Prism doesn't have the restrictions in V, so you just played full power V Prism plus the Stride. That's like good. There was something going on with Rivier. Like, I'm pretty sure that one is stupidly inconsistent and minuses you a whole bunch, but if you do it right, I'm trying. Let me go see what the name of this card is. Sorry, I need to go find this old-ass grade 2 from the end of G.
Somebody on one of our like previous podcasts, who like on YouTube, was like the thing behind root beer stares into my soul, and that's what it's doing. Right?
It stares into mine as well. Just look at it. It's got like a piece of cheese on its head for some reason.
See, at least Ozzy looks off to the side, right? Like he's looking that way.
It's true.
What is that? Butter? Like I can't even tell.
It's an onion ring.
Oh, it's an onion ring.
It's a halo. Got it.
Yeah.
Anyways, this grade 2 that I'm thinking of for Rivier is Maturity Talent Selena. So, what it does is acts in your hand, put a card into your soul, and then put this card in your soul and discard a card from your hand. So if your Vanguard is the grade 1 Rivier, you search your deck for the grade 2 Rivier, ride it, and then shuffle your deck.
And then bum indeed.
And then when your Vanguard with Rivier and its name attacks, you can return it to your hand, and if you do, call it back to Rearguard Circle. So the idea with Rivier is that you use this to accelerate to grade 2 and get the first stride. So especially if you're going first, you just stride while your opponent's still on grade 2. And then you use the stride, you go back down to Rivier, and then Rivier's skill, after she attacks, rides back down to grade 2. So you stride lock your opponent.
You got to ride down. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but the thing is, you have to open exactly this grade 2. So you need to have the grade 1 Rivier to ride, then you need this card to discard, and you also need the grade 3 Rivier to be able to ride on your grade 3 turn. So you need, like, perfect opening hand for this combo to, like, even work.
That's a little risky.
So, and I think you just don't care about how much it costs, because if you do it right, you're getting at least 7 attacks, and then if you find, like, another copy of this card or the grade 2 Rivier, both of them can make extra attacks when you ride back or when the stride goes away. So you can make like 8-9 attacks off of the Rivier turn.
While your opponents are grade 2.
While your opponents are grade 2. So if they don't die outright, then they're just completely crippled. Like their hand is gone, they can't stride. You probably just win next turn.
After having gotten a force marker too. So if it's like force 2 and you really like put the screws to them, that's very, very high risk, high reward.
Yeah, so this is like super high roll deck. You need to open like you need to open basically like the entire ride line for Rivier and this grade 2. And like I think you just don't care about discarding everything. You probably can afford it if you're just planning to win anyways. But yeah, finding that grade 2 like you have to open it or draw it off the top, because it only works while you're a grade 1. So, like, if you don't get this combo off immediately, then it just doesn't work. And then I think Rivier probably does not have the card advantage to sustain itself very well, because it's all very costly restands.
That's true. You're discarding, what, like 5 that turn or something?
Yeah, so I think
or 6,
like, if you don't pull the combo off, the deck is probably much worse.
But it would be really funny.
Yes, it would.
No, even just for like, it's like one of those things in like the original anime, like where like I think Leon or some shit went against Kai and just kicked his ass, and it was that moment where like, oh god, I'm screwed, and it's just like that doom, that feeling of doom, where like, oh my god, these mermaids are gonna run roughshod over me, and it's turn 3. The hell,
yeah.
And then you just die.
So yeah,
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can do that with Rivier. I I don't know how to like. I'm not entirely sure how to like build out that deck yet. I'd have to think about it more. Just to like, if the combo doesn't go off, you have to think about how the deck would play normally. And then I was also thinking about Pacifica. I had a small thread about this on Twitter where Pacifica. The thing Pacifica tends to do is just find more copies of Pacifica. So my thought is, if you're just searching all the grade 3s out of your deck and then discarding them for the stride, then you're not losing any shield value. And then a lot of the cards can also recycle the Pacificas. So my thought there is just, you don't care about what Pacifica does because it doesn't do anything, because it's an act, and you just keep striding that stride, and hopefully you just draw enough Pacificas to discard for it.
I have a similar philosophy I run Blue Waves in Premium for Aquaforce, and there's a card called Arsenal Fleet Dragon, where the first effect is like it can restand itself if it's like second battle. That doesn't matter. The other effect is if it's in your drop zone and your Vanguard restands by a card ability, you can Soul Blast and return it to your hand. So basically you use these as discard fodder for Tetra Drive or Flood Hazard or Tetra Boil, like just stuff that restands itself, and then use it as stride fodder, discard fodder for your PG, discarding for the restand, and you can just do that every turn. So I think that's a similar philosophy you got going on.
Yeah. See, so the problem with that is like it's only 6 attacks, and then if you go first, Pacifico most likely resolves her skill, so you get like the triple drive, you get 2 force markers, and then the triple door, which doesn't matter that early, but the more important thing is you have a bunch of force markers and extra cards, so like that is my thought, is that Pacifica can just easily find discard fodder for Heltrauda's discard 3, so you just get the 6 attacks every turn, and then on the off chance you actually manage to fulfill the condition for the Pacifica Stride, which is you counterblast 1, reveal 3 different named Pacificas, return all rear on attack, return all rear guards to hand, call up to 5 Pacificas, they get 5k, and GB2 they can attack from back row. So it's an 8 attack turn.
Okay. Are there any Bermuda decks where they get so much like card advantage that it kind of doesn't matter that you're doing the discard for the?
If the old Gion J is unbanned, I don't even remember if they unbanned.
Would that card even see play if it were unbanned?
I don't know. I think that card might be like too outdated now.
I think so too.
Yeah, that card gets enough advantage to sustain it, but I think that just might be outdated.
Not getting a force marker pretty large.
Mm-hmm. Like, Vianjay can, like, maybe do something. I don't know yet. Like, you'd have to run Harmony cards, because most of the generic advantage cards are, like, some of the grade 1s can do some things, and then a bunch of old Harmony cards just drew cards, so you could probably still use them with force markers. So I was thinking about something there, because what was their name? Shandi, the grade 2 version, just like every 3 cards in Harmony draw a card and gains 5k, I think. So that still hits an appreciable number, 14k, and then you can draw cards, maybe 2. Highly doubt you will draw 2.
So
yeah.
Lots of directions you could take it in. That's pretty cool.
Lots of potential directions. Yeah. Like, Pacifica is the one I'm, like, theory crafting the most right now. Like, Rivier is a high roll deck, but it's really funny, so I kind of want to build it just to see if I can ever get it to work properly. And, like, the few games it does where you get, like, the full combo going is going to be hilariously amazing.
If you do decide to do that, there's a premium Hamstay deck that's super high rolly that I will gladly play against you on video, just for the meme.
Yeah.
I'm
trying to think of. What? I hate thinking about this archetype, but you could like maybe do something with Mir, because Mir just gets a free present marker at the beginning.
I refuse.
Now, Mir's present marker comes at the beginning of main phase, so you can't do it after striding.
Oh, cringe.
Yeah.
That's still 3 different decks that could possibly like use this.
Yeah,
and like
bad.
Like I said, we'll go over the cards more in
Mhm.
detail next week when everything's out.
Mirror's bad, thank God.
If anything, this is meant to be like a sequel to
Mhm.
or to the episode for next week. After you hear all those, you come back, you're like, all right, what were they talking about?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you can also just run the Highlander deck, right? Like, you just jam 50 good cards and say random bullshit go.
Yeah. Pretty much. What about you, Alice?
Well, I guess I'll start with Tachikaze since that's like a.
I know some of those cards.
Yeah. All right. So this card that came out, the Tonka Truck, somebody called it Craft Singles because you only need to use it once. Basically, this thing is a way to make all of your rear guards get red text where when they attack afterward, you can Soul Blast and restand them. So everything becomes a restander. First off, people have been considering this with Virina Esperada, the guy that just gets a free restand. Because he also gives those things 10k. So he's hitting for 23, 23, 23. He's hitting for 3 just on his own. Very little commitment to board.
Throw in the Excel circle, no problem, right?
Yeah, exactly. Charlie from the Tachikaze Discord, Card Dweeb, I believe his name is, put a video out where you are able to make 12 attacks with this. And I say that for real, not for the 12 attack Pale Moon meme that we've been doing since like 2017 or whatever this happened.
Gary can get to 12. It's all sudden.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a very convoluted thing, but I think if you build the deck toward that, it can function as such. I haven't actually come up with any particular deck list. At the moment, I just kind of threw the thing into my G-Zone and just worked with the list I had at Springfest. I don't think that that's going to continue being the case. I think it's going to be a little more dynamic where you're calling more stuff off of rear as opposed to doing the kind of Anchor Blade or Sweeper Concanto stuff. What I do know is that stride is pretty good, and it has its own situations where you can use it with a less populous board, unlike Neberos, which needs like more resources to put in to get what you need out, which is kind of what we needed. So I think that is a very good start. I especially like the Virina Esperado thing, just because, again,
it's pretty cool.
Mileage. Yeah. I think what it's going to warrant on, like, at least to start, is more soul. Because
this has been a Tachi problem for a long time.
Yeah, so you're probably going to do Polkenspine stuff, or like running the Heart Thump crit just for the draw.
Good.
Yeah.
It has happened in the past.
Yeah. I noticed that a lot of decks that I play have a soul problem, except for Pillman. Like, this just is a pattern for whatever reason.
I mean, some of these decks just don't generate soul, but spend it a fair bit.
Yeah.
Like Tachikaze is a prime example of that.
Yeah, good. I wish there was a thing that's like, when it's eaten, put it into soul, give something 5k. Like, that'd be so nice.
Nope. Not
yeah, like, here,
like, even Gaia back in G had like soul issues, despite the fact that you have this card that soul charges all the time.
Yeah. Like, one thing that bothers me about the Tachi Discord is that they're stuck on this guy, Raven Terra, which is
pretty good.
It is good, but it requires a Soul Blast.
Yep.
And you can run out of it pretty quick.
Yep.
So I feel like it's a massive drain on resources. I know that in the Springfest list, and likely when I figure out whatever it is, I figure out this is probably going to be a big player, Tribash. A, because it gives your Vanguard crit pressure, and B, because it goes into Soul. Mostly for the second thing. I feel like you're
doesn't your opponent need to have like no rear guards?
Yes, although most of the time people either have a lot of disappearing boards, or in Neberos' case, they happen at the same time, so you can pick off the 2 rear guards. There you go. So it never ended up being a problem for me. I don't really know what you would do otherwise. There have been floatings of Ancient Dragons getting more support, so I have
Spino Reverse.
Yeah, probably Spino Reverse. The other thing is, like, a lot of Tachi builds, like you have your one ride and you don't really have a good backup ride. At the least, by using Spino Driver as your main Vanguard, you can also run. Where is this thing? It's a Grade 3 Ancient Dragon Barrel Tops, which is when placed, if you have an Ancient Dragon Vanguard, which can be himself or Spino Driver, you can counterblast one, draw a card, and he gets 5k for the turn. So he can hit Force on his own. He replaces himself, and then also if you get a front trigger, he gets a crit, because it's one of those Ancient Dragons. That's not really super important, but it's a thing you can do. So I think depending on, like, in the future when Spino Reverse comes out, if we get more Ancient Dragon support, I feel like I might be doing something with, like, Hypno Hang, if you remember that card.
Please stop. Get some help. Every time somebody brings... Hypno Hang is never good. It has never been good. It will never be good.
You can use it on turn 2 with Spino Extra. Okay, so, look, I'm just saying that it requires a redo of everything that from what I was using in Springfest.
We've been talking about Hypno Hang for like 5 years.
I have?
No, just
they
Hachi players in general.
Yeah, I think
whenever that came out, whenever that card came out, people have never stopped talking about it.
I think it's because it doesn't require a counterblast or a soul blast to
Correct.
retire. Kind of like Mega Rex. That's why people latch on to Mega Rex so much.
And so people so what happens is, the old Tachi players quit, right? Mm-hmm. New Tachi players come up and are like, "Oh, I just found this card Hypno Hang," and everyone's just like, "Oh."
If it got the 3k on attack instead of end of battle when it got the restand, it'd be better.
Yeah.
Just that's my major problem with it. I have a set in my commons. I don't care. I just think there might be something.
You just want to draw 2 Hypno Hangs. We get it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm probably going to end up doing Pulkin's Fine as my thing of choice.
Gesundheit.
Let's see. Yeah, so that's kind of all I have for Tashi's. I'm sorry it's not more in detail. I haven't really gotten to test with it yet.
Yeah. I mean, none of us have really tested it, right?
No, I've been too busy.
Or maybe Matt.
I've tested one thing and one thing only.
I've been on spikes only.
That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to talk about last. I'm going to do these two things in the middle. First, Pale Moon. The Stride basically, it's made to work with Harry because if you have 4 different grades called out with the effect, you get a blanket Battle Door still for the whole turn. So 1, 2, 3, Starry Pop, grade 4, bam. Yes, you can do 0, 1, 2, 3, but it's meant to work with that. And I think if Bushiroad hits Nightmare Dolls on the ban list, whenever tournament season is over, I feel like I can probably do something with Harry. If not, I'm just going to cram it into Nightmare Dolls and keep it as that. Aqua Force. So this is the only Stride of all the ones that we've seen that gives you an imaginary gift, that being Excel.
True.
So I regret to inform you that people, much like Yu-Gi-Oh, have decided to cram the Order Colony engine, that being Ruination Dragon, the book, and Shadow Cloak, into Aqua Force. Because the Stride gives you an Excel circle. I'm not doing this. I'm just saying that's what people are wanting to do.
I assume in every Zoo Megalonica clan that's going to be a thing that happens.
Yeah. They're talking about this like it's Brilliant Fusion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just throw 2 books in there and 4 of this card, no problem.
Yeah. The reason it worked so well in Mega Colony is that Protect is the worst gift. So you're just like, fuck it. Get the 3 draws. But Excel is arguably the best gift on its own. So losing out on getting an imaginary gift until turn 4 at the least, and also pigeonholing yourself into having to go into that Stride. Because in a lot of Aqua Force builds, be it Thavas or Blue Wave or Blue Storm or Maelstrom or whatever it's called, you can Stride. It's not always Genbold. You know what I mean? So I think that it's a neat idea, but I don't know if it's going to go anywhere.
Right.
In my case, I have blue waves, and I haven't thought of using that stride at all because you're either going into first stride. Either if you G-guarded first, you can do Tetraboil, which is pretty funny.
True.
You can do Genbolt, like I mentioned before. That's like blanket the best Aquaforce stride on its own, but not always the case. You can do Alexandros, although that's likely if you have a bad matchup and you just need to work with what you have. But mostly what I've been doing in Blue Wave is I have just been, if I'm going first, doing like a crazy turn 3 with Tetra Drive and stuff and getting like 6-7 attacks off because you just throw your hand at the wall. Drawing a bunch at the end, the opponent is kind of, ragged. They put up a lackluster offense, and then if you G-guard that turn, you just go into Flood Hazard as your first stride and just tick their teeth in. So, yeah, I think the major improvement there is just going to be the G-guard because Aquaforce already kind of had bad G-guards, and I'll take anything I can get.
Mm-hmm.
I think the new stride is going to be more important in things like Thavas, where your field is a lot more static as opposed to dynamic.
Sure.
So I think also people are excited that Pursuit Assault finally came out in English, if being, aside from the fact that it's hard to find.
Yes, somebody was talking about V-Thavas and saying that it's really unfortunate that V-Thavas is really gatekept by the PR.
Yeah, it is.
So you just can't play the deck without it, right?
Mm-hmm. We do have reprints coming in this set that we don't know what they are yet. So there could be a Pursuit Assault, which there should be, for real.
I would like to see a reprint of some random G-era cards. Triple R Mecha Instructor?
I could see, or they just do Devil Watch to screw with you.
Oh no, it's going to be much worse. Probably it's going to be no. They already did Devil Watch.
Oh, they did. Okay,
yeah, they already did Devil Watch in one of the previous premium collections.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be like Weak Killer Misery or something.
Oh my god, kill me.
Or it could be the PR with Fiona.
Oh yeah, that could be. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I still have no idea if I'm playing that card.
I know that I run one Pursuit Assault in Blue Waves, and the only reason for that is I got it for like a good price from Chris. Shout out at Silver Chariot. He's been on a lot of episodes. But I got it for a good price, and it's been like a decent card, mostly good early game. My favorite combo is to do it with Brutal Trooper, the one that gives your Vanguard on attack draw by going back on deck. So you rest 2 of them, draw, put them back in deck, and then give the effect to your Vanguard. So, yeah, it's not super important. I will easily take it out for something else, for Blue Wave at least. One thing I like about Blue Wave is the immense amount of consistency you get from Baragios and Corvette, both being Blue Waves that start other Blue Waves, which means I have I haven't ride locked myself in a long time. It happened once earlier this afternoon, and that's the last I can remember. Yeah. So lastly, my pride and joy, my great nature.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, something about animals studying for finals or something. I can't remember. So both the stride and the G-guard and what's going on around us have changed the decks immensely. So starting with the G-guard, because this isn't the variant I play, it allows you to mill a card to become basically a PG if you mill a trigger, and then if not, it gets 20k shield. So if you're on Isabel, it's a perfect guard every single time, which is very good because you just go discard a heal, counterblast 1, PG, suck on that. I think now you have the makings of a defensive deck with Izzy that can be a huge pain in the ass for the opponent because you have that, and then you have the Denial Griffin combo that she has that costs a Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 2. And then because of that Limmer that is just on play Countercharge, Soul Charge, you can keep that going for a while. That's not the deck I'm playing, but it's definitely a thing you can do. What I am playing is Big Belly. And the stride we got is this parrot that I've been calling Polly, as you probably saw from that meme I posted a couple days ago.
It's not a parrot; it's a dragon.
Omniscient stride. It's a fucking parrot. So, sorry, it's a goddamn parrot. The effect is you flip a thing face up in G zone. Your whole front row gets plus 10k. And then you can give something, or when she attacks, when the Vanguard attacks, you counterblast, stand something that has 30k or more power, which is very easy to do if you're on Excel 1. And then it gets red text when it attacks, I think it's either Battle Door or Triple Door.
Triple Door.
It's Triple Door. So this has brought back the Zoa Rhino thing without the Zoa. Because instead of going, I hope this hits once for game, this is attacking 2 to 3 times, depending if you have Big Belly or Crayon Tiger on board. And it could have crits, it could be anything else. And no zeros. There's another variant I'm experimenting with Roaming Prison Dragon, because he gives himself a crit, and then you just play any generically good order to call it out every turn. Probably not what I'm going with, but it's something I'm kicking around. I feel
like you just play like Condensation or something.
Yeah, I did Whale's Melt at Sound of Range because it's free, and like, you don't care, right? You're just like, all right, free thing, cool, thanks. So like 4 of that, 2 Condensation, and then Roaming Prison Dragon. And because of how good Grey Nature is at searching grade 3s and how good it is at like dropping cards, you can just get it in drop zone like turn 2, turn 3. And then just every turn you do that, he's got a crit on him, he gets huge real quick, and then just use that to pressure. I think the Rhino one is the one I'm going with, just because he gets closer to 30 quicker instead of having to work harder for it. The other thing is, with Brilliant Blister walking around, I've started running Lesser Rider, which you guys saw the freaking... there was a buyout on TCG Player. Somebody put it back up. It was $7,000 because that's a meme. And Lesser Rider's effect is he's got success, which means if something's at 20k or more, he becomes successful. And then if he's successful, him and every other rearguard on your board get plus 2k and resist. So you can use that to work around Brilliant Blister, because the Big Belly Grade 3 that restands stuff has success. So that combined with Lesser Rider making him a 13k, which can hit force numbers, and Talented Rhinos also being a success unit, that's the other thing, means that you can use that to get around Brilliant Blister, Denial Griffin, things of that nature. I have like Lesser Rider at 3 specifically just for how this meta is, and I also, you're going to kill me for this, cut Crayon Tiger.
I heard.
My problem with Crayon Tiger is that there are too many ways to screw with your front or back row, and it people see it coming a mile away. With Big Belly, you don't need a boost; he just needs to be successful, which is easy as pie. And I can search it easier as compared to Crayon Tiger. You do lose that draw ability, but because Big Belly draws on anything he kills during battle or end phase, it's a moot point. Let's see, was there anything else I wanted to bring up? I considered for a while Bicolor Baku, which is like Compass Lion sort of, but he's got success just for that extra Lesser Rider target, but I think I'm going to go back to Compass Lion just because 13k from the start is better for like that early game bullying that people try and do, where they're like hitting for 10, you're like,
yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. So something I tried, but not something I'm sticking with. And then also Label Pangolin solves all soul and counterblast problems.
Card is godlike.
Because you're restanding everything so much. You're like, and then just bam, bam, bam. Like it's
that card's so good.
Yeah.
I actually dislike that it soul charges a little bit.
I did for a while. Another thing I'm considering is Culture Gorilla. Do you know what that does?
I think I remember this card.
So when your Vanguard attacks, you Soul Blast 5 and stand everything that is 25k or more power.
Yeah.
Considering it is attacked, but probably not going to work out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just remember like almost decking out with Label Pangolin occasionally. You had to really think about it.
So, yeah, that's all I got.
Cool.
Yeah.
Seems great.
Yeah. So, and now more than ever, to the listener, what are you working on? What are you excited to try?
Now is the time for Spike Brothers.
Yeah, sound off in the comments or on Twitter at Nexus at Nights. We have an Instagram. We don't use it much. We got merch. That's down in the show notes or the description. Working on getting playmats for everybody. If you want to support us, patreon.com/Nexus at Night. Whole ass bonus show every week. It's $5 a month for everything. That's
True.
it. Yeah. How about you guys?
You can find me on Twitter at Wiggums 2Gs 2Zs.
You can find me at Plasma Eclipse.
And then you can find me at Atlas Novak, Twitter, Instagram, or follow my other show at Generation Dan. Thank you to $10 patrons Darren, Cole, Josh, and Jeremy, and Mewwill. I almost always forget.
Spike's the set. Get in there.
So, yeah, thanks everybody for listening. We'll see you next week for the set review. And I was Atlas.
I'm still Matt.
I'm Root Beer.
And have a good night, everybody.